morning, everyone. It is bright and early and gloomy on Monday, not even so much bright. Like I said at the end of last week's vlog, last night I finished Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee, and I absolutely loved it. It was wonderful, probably one of my favorites for the month so far, and my goal for this week is to get through at least another arc. This one I'm starting is called Time After Time, and obviously getting through more of A Storm of Swords. I only have the audiobook for about 6 more days, so I'm going to try to get through it, as much of it as I possibly can before I have to return it. I went to see Toy Story 4 with Robert and Ryan after I finished Not Your Sidekick, and Toy Story 4 was so cute. I loved it. I very vaguely remember watching the first 2, and I never watched the third one. But this one, like, honestly, and this was something I had talked about with my friend Ryan, that's his favorite Pixar series, it's the Toy Story movies. We were talking about how pretty much all of those movies are like standalones. Like, you could watch any one of them and it would not really matter if you hadn't watched the ones before it. I wouldn't say you could watch them out of order. I mean, you probably could if you wanted to, but I do believe that it is, fine for you to just watch one and maybe not the rest of them. So it is just now about 6 o'clock in the evening, and I basically all day today was very, very busy at work. Like, there was not a lull period that I had until probably about 20 minutes before I had to leave work. But today also has been rather gloomy again. For some reason, Michigan is dealing with a lot of rain. This is, I think, the most rain I have seen in the last 3 consecutive weeks in my life. It feels like a good time for me to sit and read, but I just made dinner, so I want to sit and kind of relax for a little bit, because basically since I got home about 5 o'clock, I've been kind of running around like crazy. After work, I went and got gas in my car, and then I also went to the library to drop off my copy of Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee, and then I came home and have been running around ever since. I had to help get Robert ready to go to work because he was running late. I unloaded, reloaded, and started the dishwasher. I folded our laundry. So right now, I don't have anything else going on for the night. So what I'm doing now is uploading last week's vlog, which is awesome. I'm so happy that I actually got this out fairly much on time. So I'm very, very happy. And I think the rest of the night, I'm just gonna sit and read. Also today, I read about 2.5 hours worth of A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I am basically at the tail end of a chapter though, so I might listen to a little more of it before the end of the day. I'm currently on page 245 of the paperback version, so basically trying to gauge where my audiobook is with the paperback. So I am pretty far into it. I'm honestly a lot farther into it than I had expected to be at this point. I'm definitely still not going to finish the audiobook before I have to send it back, I think this weekend. But the first arc I am going to be trying to complete this week is called Time After Time by Lisa Grunwald. It is a book that is historical fiction, as it looks like, according to Goodreads. It takes place in from the 1920s to World War II, and is kind of in this inspired by like The Time Traveler's Wife and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which are both stories I have not read nor movies I have seen, but it's placed in, looks like, partly 1937, where there is a man named Joe Reynolds, who's a hardworking railroad man from Queens, that meets a vibrant young woman who seems mysteriously out of place. Nora Lansing is a Manhattan socialite whose flapper clothing, pearl earrings, and talk of the roaring 20s doesn't seem to match the bleak mood of Depression-era New York. Captivated by Nora from her first electric touch, Joe despairs when he tries to walk her home and she disappears. Finding her again and again will become the focus of his love and his life. Nora, an aspiring artist and fiercely independent, is shocked to find she's somehow been trapped, her presence in the terminal governed by rules she can't fathom. It isn't until she meets Joe that she begins to understand the effect that time is having on her and the possible connections to the workings of Grand Central and the solar phenomenon known as Manhattan Edge, when the sun rises or sets between the city skyscrapers, aligned perfectly with the streets below. As thousands of visitors pass under the famous celestial blue ceiling each day, Joe and Nora create a life unlike any they could have imagined. With infinite love and infinite space, they take full advantage of the terminal city within a city, dining at the Oyster Bar, visiting the Whispering Gallery, and making a home at the Biltmore Hotel.
But when the construction of another landmark threatens their future, Nora and Joe are forced to test the limits of freedom and love. Delving into Grand Central Terminal's rich past, Lisa Grunwald crafts a masterful historical novel about a love affair that defies age, class, place, and even time. So this is obviously very historical fiction based. It seems it has some kind of ideas about not exactly time travel, but how one place kind of transcends time, or time almost seems to have stopped in there, which would be interesting to read about. I'm not quite familiar with that kind of a device that is used within a story. Apparently this just came out on June 11th, so I am only like 2 weeks behind on my arcs, which is really good so far. I'm still going to be a little behind, I think, when it comes to catching up on them, but hopefully I like this one. I'm a little concerned though about the confusing nature of, I think, the aspect of Grand Central Station being kind of this place where time doesn't seem to ever actually work there. I hope that with all of the things that are discussed in the synopsis, I hope that the story doesn't get too confusing. It is about 416 pages, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it tonight, but I should be able to get through a huge chunk of it tonight, if I like it at least. So it all comes really down to the writing style a lot of times for me, and how well I think the writing style effectively tells the story. So I think that if I like the writing style enough, I might work with it, but if I don't like it, then I'm probably not going to continue reading it.
Hey guys, so it's about 9:30 now, and I'm going to be going to bed. I did get through the first 11% of Time After Time. I ended up partially falling asleep earlier, like not quite falling asleep, but like I dozed for probably about 20 minutes, and then I got up and I took a bath, but I couldn't sit in the bath for very long because I think I had it too hot, and I kind of almost created a sauna in my bathroom, and that was not very fun. I started getting very lightheaded. So after doing that, I came back out here and read some more of this, and I like it. I mean, there's already been, within the first like 10%, 11% of it, there's already been kind of an interesting development with the story. It is very sweet, the way that the main characters kind of first have like a little meet cute, and it's very, very sweet how they interact with each other. So I am interested in the relationship itself. I think tomorrow, if it's gonna be nice out, Robert and I are gonna go disc golfing again, because I'm supposed to go Wednesday with my work, but I don't know. I think it's gonna keep raining a lot this week for some reason. Like, it has just been off and on raining for the last like several days. So I don't know if it's gonna still be too wet to go outside and do disc golf in like a bunch of grass. So I don't know, it's gonna have to be kind of played by ear whether or not that's actually gonna happen or not. I know that they'll probably figure it out like either tomorrow or during the day Wednesday whether or not we're actually gonna go. So I don't know, but if it's nice out tomorrow, I think Robert and I are gonna go at least and try to do some disc golf, but it's gonna depend, I think, too, on the weather, because I don't really know how tomorrow's going to go with if it's going to rain anymore, because if it is, then we probably won't go, considering that it's going to be super wet outside. But if it's not, maybe it won't be too bad where we go for our course, so it'll just depend.
Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday. It's almost quarter to noon, and I'm home. So basically this morning at about 5:30, I woke up with a massive migraine, and I took some Excedrin and went back to bed thinking that if I maybe slept a little longer with some Excedrin, I would be fine to go to work this morning, and unfortunately that was not the case. Thankfully though, my job gives me the ability to work from home. Since I'm technically a contractor, I have the ability to work from home. But the problem is that I can't access my files that I need right now. So today has been basically just a lot of, hey, can you send me this? Can you send me this? And make sure I have these things so I can actually get these sent out to the people that they're supposed to be sent out to. So it's been a bit of a day with that so far. But I started about 9 o'clock, so I'm already almost 3 hours into my day. And to get my 8 hours in, I just have to be there, be working until like 5. But like I said, a lot of it is just kind of waiting on people to send me things because everybody has like a bunch of stuff going on. So this is possibly a day where I'm going to get a lot of reading done, which I'm kind of okay with because I would like to get through more Time After Time if I can.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I have left work and am heading home. and I want to just quickly update you guys with some things that have happened. So obviously yesterday, since I worked from home, I didn't do a lot of reading. I didn't end up going disc golfing like I thought I was going to with Robert because I've been getting this kind of pain in the back of my knees. For some reason, the backs of my knees are a little swollen, which typically happens if I walk a lot, but that hasn't happened since I went to Warped Tour, and I don't think I have walked anywhere near as extensive as I had at Warped Tour, so I have no idea how this happened, but they're a little swollen, so I didn't want to aggravate them because I was going to go disc golfing today after work. But then when I got to work this morning, I realized I left my discs back at the apartment. If I was to go home to get my discs, I basically wouldn't get back in time before everyone would be starting. So I just decided I was going to skip it and just go home. And my knees still are swollen, like I said, so I don't want to aggravate them anymore because it's kind of one of those things where, like, if I take a step and I kind of go to stop, they really, really hurt. Like, if I take a very quick stop, I can feel the backs of my knees kind of stretch, and it's not fun. I am going to actually DNF time after time, and I'll explain in a minute why, but last night I did end up listening to some of A Storm of Swords, and earlier today I did listen to another hour of it on my way to work, and then a little bit at work too, because I had a point where I could listen to it just to finish off the chapter that I was in when I got to work. So as far as the reason for why I am stopping time after time, the reason is because I just don't feel like I'm as invested in the story, and I'm not as interested in it. When I picked it up a couple days ago to start reading, I was invested in it. I was really interested. But then there was a couple day gap where I had it put down. I think the last time I had picked it up was on Monday. I hadn't read it at all on Tuesday, and basically it's kind of just sitting back today and thinking about it. I'm not really as interested in the story as I think I originally was. I feel like the story is just kind of meh. I'm not as emotionally invested in it as I want to be for the kind of story it's supposed to be, which is kind of like this, star-crossed lover story with a woman who supposedly died in a crash like 13 years before and is somehow stuck in this area. I don't even quite understand. Like, it was very complicated and kind of the relationship that was going on, but I don't know, I just was not very interested in it after a little while, and I don't really feel a draw back to it by any means. It's not anything that I'm kind of like dying to get back to, and I don't want to waste my time with something that I'm going to end up, not liking because, I'm not really invested in it anymore. So I decided to DNF it. I got through like 11% of it though, which was pretty good. I mean, the book is like 416 pages, so I got through like almost the first 50 pages, which is pretty good. I typically like to try to at least get through the first 10% of a novel before I officially DNF it, because I feel like at that point the story's kind of started to, pick up a little bit, or we get some real good points for a plot that, might interest me. So this one though wasn't it. So the next book I'm going to be reading is going to be a huge jump for me, and that's because I'm making a huge leap in genre, and that's because I'm reading a book called The Outside by Ada Hoffman. This is an adult sci-fi, and y'all know I can tell you everything about how a fantasy world works and all kinds of great stuff, but get me into a sci-fi story that's super complex and has a lot of technology within it that is hard to decipher. I'm lost. So I hope that this one's not going to be that bad. It seems like the story is pretty straightforward for the most part. There might just be some world building aspects I'll have to pay attention to, because the story supposedly focuses on this woman who is like, I don't know, wouldn't say she's the creator of this ship, but she's a really big important person on this ship that is in space, and basically this group of people are kind of ruled by these robotic AI called the Angels, I think, and they are basically telling her that a former mentor of hers is supposedly wreaking havoc and causing all kinds of problems. So I believe that her mission is to take care of this mentor, but there becomes a moral dilemma for the character, because obviously this is a former mentor of hers. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of respect there between the two of them. So, and I believe it's one of those stories where she goes to find the mentor and then finds out what the mentor is actually doing, and so there becomes an even bigger dilemma with the fact of, do I follow what my mentor tells me, or do I follow the people that are actually in charge of me and, go with what they say? So that's the kind of story it seems to be, so I hope that it's not way further back. Like, I didn't realize until last night that I was already over like 250 pages, and I thought I was still back at like just about 100 pages. So I'm pretty happy with my progress of it. I still don't think I'm going to finish the audiobook before I have to take it and give it back, but that's okay. Anyway, I am getting a little tired because today was kind of a long day for me. So instead of listening to my audiobook, which might put me to sleep if I try to listen to it on the way home, I'm going to put on some music. But maybe I'll listen to more of it tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to more when I make dinner tonight for Robert and I have no idea. I really don't. So it's going to kind of come how it comes. But I do want to read the majority of The Outside tonight because I have nothing else I'm doing tonight. I can sit and read all the hell I want. So that's what I'm going to do. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. I am well on my way to work. I recorded this like just a minute ago, but it was getting way too long, so I decided to just like scrap it and just restart. So I am so sorry that I did not let you guys know about anything on Thursday. Thursday was a busy day at work, and then on top of that, yesterday I wasn't like in a bad place or anything, but I was not feeling very well. I've been getting some headaches here and there this past week because of the pressure changes with the fact that we've had a lot of rain, and then for 2 days we had nothing, and then today I get out to go to my car and it's raining and maybe even thunderstorming a little bit on my way to work. So I've just been not feeling great. I didn't do really any reading at all. I didn't even listen to my audiobook yesterday, which was weird. Yesterday morning, for some reason, I was extremely tired, and I thought that it was not a good idea to try to listen to my audiobook on the way to work because I was probably going to fall asleep at the wheel, which would not be good. So I listened to music on the way to work. Today, I hope to get something read at least. I think if I can finish this clip here quickly, I can get started with my audiobook again. My plan is that while I'm working with this data mining project and stuff that I'm doing, I was taking a lot of breaks during the day Thursday to keep my eyes from hurting the entire time that I was working. And then to stand up and stretch and everything and make sure that I wasn't like super tense. So I think part of that, what I'm going to do is start reading little more bits and pieces of The Outside by Ada Hoffman. I didn't read that at all yesterday either, so I haven't picked it up since Wednesday. Then tonight, I think I can get to at least the halfway point of The Outside. At this point, I think I'm like almost 10% of the way through it, or maybe just above that. So I think I'll get to like the 50% mark with this and then finish the rest of it on Saturday. As far as how much I like The Outside at this point, since I'm kind of at that point where I would either DNF it or continue, I'm actually going to continue it because I really like where the story is going, and it's actually really, really good. It's one of those sci-fi novels where, despite the fact that there's so much like high tech involved and stuff, it doesn't make the reader feel stupid, which is one of the problems that I had with a lot of sci-fi that I had read as a young kid that I think was probably way too old for me to read at that point in my life, because it was very complicated and I didn't understand any of it. But even then, some of them made the reader feel absolutely stupid, like they should have known all this stuff. But unfortunately for the average reader, not all of us are, super well versed in things like physics and chemistry and all that stuff. So this book, The Outside, though, does not make the reader feel stupid, and actually the characters' reaction to these things that are being said about, what's going on physics-wise and all that stuff, the reaction of the characters is actually a lot more helpful to understand what's exactly going on than anything else is. So that's really nice, because if the character didn't react to anything that was going on or what they were being told about certain things happening, I think that the story would be a lot less interesting, and I feel like that would also make the reader feel a little stupid, like they should know how to react to this kind of thing. So I really like it. Also, the main character is on the autism spectrum, which is really interesting because I think this is the first novel that I will have read that has a character on the autism spectrum. Now, I can't speak for the representation of it, as I do not have autism myself, but from what I know of autism, based on what I have read in psychology classes I've taken, and from what my mother, who is a licensed social worker, has told me about some of the things about autism, some of the characteristics or the common traits or behavioral things that are involved with people with autism. This character has a problem with interacting with large groups, which is very common. They have a lot of social anxiety, basically, because they understand that they're very different from what other people expect. Because many times, and this is another thing about individuals with autism that is very common, many times they are very focused on one or two very specific things. Like, for instance, there are kids that are obsessed with building blocks. They're obsessed with architecture. They're obsessed with comic books, obsessed with trains. I remember watching a video of a kid with autism that was obsessed with washing machines. And it was very, very interesting. And so this character is specifically, as is pretty evident in the story, is obsessed with physics. And she loves everything about it. And part of the story is her having built this reactor originally with her mentor, who has since disappeared. And she's kind of the lead person on this reactor. And the whole story is basically her trying to find out why things aren't working, and it may have something to do with the fact that her mentor might be messing stuff up for her, but she doesn't quite know why at this point. Also, the main character, I believe, is some form of mixed race. I do not know which. The story kind of talks about how the world, or at least Earth, is kind of at this point in time split into 3 nations, but it is not told how that's divvied up exactly. So I do not know the exact mixture of races that this character is. It's just described that she is a little less darker skinned than her girlfriend, which is another point. The main character is also in a relationship with another girl. It's very, very interesting. The relationship dynamic between them is actually very nice. I really like it. It's very caring. It's a very sweet relationship. The girlfriend is very well tuned into what Ysera, the main character, needs when it comes to the fact that she has to, work with her autism. So she knows how to calm her down. She knows how to calm Ysera's mind when she's stressing out. She knows what Ysera needs at different points in her emotions. So it's very, very sweet. It's very caring. I really hope nothing happens to the girlfriend because she's very, very sweet. I love her. I think she is wonderful, and she's like a precious being that needs to be protected at all costs. And so is Ysera. Ysera is very, very, I really like her. I really like what I've read so far. And I'm really interested to see what exactly happens, because now that I know that the mentor may have something to do with what's going on, which is told very early in the story, so don't worry, it's not a spoiler. And it's actually kind of part of the synopsis, really. I want to know what exactly is going on with this mentor and why she disappeared and why she might be messing with the reactor that she kind of helped build. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited. So I hope to read some of that while I'm at work if I get the chance, maybe even read more of it tonight, and then possibly finish it off tomorrow after I get all my cleaning and stuff done. So I don't know. But yeah, so this week I'm not going to end up actually putting out any reviews on my blog, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. And, I just didn't get the chance to do it. If I do, I might not put it out until later in the day on Saturday instead of it being kind of more in the late morning, early afternoon like I was doing the last couple weeks. It might not be till like the evening that I put out a blog post for it. So I don't know. I'll see. If I'm up to it, I'll do it. If not, I'll just stash it for next weekend.
Hey guys, so I really have no idea what time it is at the moment, but I have done a little bit of reading of The Outside by Ada Hoffman. I've read like 2 chapters. I'm like 16% of the way through it, and then I got distracted by dinner and watching How I Met Your Mother. And then after Robert decided to go to work, I decided to get myself involved with the book Junkie Trials. So for like the last hour, maybe hour and a half at this point, I've been building my TBR for July because I'm also doing the last biannual Bibliothon in some capacity. I don't think I'm going to get all of the books on my TBR for that done within the time frame of the biannual Bibliothon, but I did want to pick out the books that I wanted to read during that week and read them if I could over the course of July, because I obviously I'm not doing the video challenges this time because I don't have the time to make the videos anymore because of work, and I just kind of didn't want to, you know, stress myself out with that. So I figured at least doing the reading challenges would be good. And oh boy, combining not only my Book Junkie Trials books for all of the challenges, which is like 17 books, taking that and adding in the books that didn't fit those challenges that are part of my biannual BiblioGames TBR, and then adding on my other books that I'm doing my reread series for and my random TBRs, I have a list of 25 books to read in July. I pretty much have to read a book I have to finish a book pretty much every day. But because I'm a part of Team Mage, I have a 3-day lead because that is our ability. We have the ability to be a little sneaky. So we get a 3-day lead. So what I'm going to do is I am going to spend the majority of tomorrow reading the rest of The Outside by Ada Hoffman, and I'm going to start with the Book Junkie Trials because tomorrow is technically the day I can start working on my TBR for that. I am going to continue working through the audiobook for A Storm of Swords, as that is a part of my TBR, and it is actually a part of the map that I have to follow for the Mage team. Now, I can't finish it yet because I have to wait until I finish my first official book on that my TBR, because there's a whole process with that, basically, where when you are a part of a certain team and you're going through your map, you have to finish the books that are your challenges for your team in a certain order. So A Storm of Swords is the second book on my list, so I'm gonna keep listening to the audiobook tomorrow and stuff, but I'm not going to finish it, which is fine because it's going to take me forever to finish the book anyway. So that, though, gives me the ability to start working on my TBR for the Book Junkie games, but it also gives me the opportunity to be able to finish The Outside, which at this point in the book, I have like less than 8 hours of it based on my reading speed, so I probably could spend the majority of tomorrow working on it because all I'm really doing is my normal Saturday stuff, which is like cleaning. I think I'm gonna like cut some stuff off that I probably would do, but I'm really not in a writing mood basically for this weekend, so I think I'm gonna cut my writing stuff that I normally would do this weekend, like my freelance work and my novel work, because I don't know, going back and forth with my novel, like I have to write it in spurts. I can't write in a time where I'm not focused on it, and I am focused in spurts with that book because it's not something that I'm looking to get published anytime soon. It's something that I'm just kind of like slowly working through, and I find that honestly the time away from it works better because I think that I go back to some of those scenes after some time in editing them and then rewriting them. I feel like I get a better, clearer idea of what I want to do with those specific chapters when I go back to them, so it's not that big of a deal for me to cut it off for like another week. So anyway, so that's basically what I'll do tomorrow. I'm also going to get groceries with Robert probably in the evening, so I think if I wake up somewhere between 9 and 10 tomorrow morning and just get started with reading, I could probably finish it or be nearly done with it at least by the time I go get groceries with Robert, since he will be up probably in the late afternoon, early evening, like he normally is when he works late on the weekends, and then pretty much finish it within the rest of that night. So that'll be good, and then that way I can start off Sunday with my first official book for the Book Junkie Trials, which is All We Knew But Couldn't Say by somebody, I don't remember her name, but that is going to count for my first challenge, which will be the Orc Grove challenge. I seriously have written down all of these challenges I am doing over the course of the month. Like, this is essentially the full TBR list, the full master list of everything I'm going to be reading in July, hopefully. Probably not going to get to all of them like normal because I have a life and stuff like that, but the first 5 are the books specifically for the Mage trials within the Book Junkie Trials. Then books 6 through 17 are all books that are either dealing with books that are part of my biannual Bibliothon challenges or are kind of the additional challenges that you can do once you finish the Bookie Grail challenges for your team, and then the rest of them are either biannual Bibliothon books or books that I want to read for my own reasons, whether it's part of my reread series or my random TBR books. The only thing I don't have filled out at this point is actually one of the challenges for the Book Junkie trials for one of like the little map places in the Queendom, and that is the Apothecary Tower challenge, which is to read a random book. I am reserving to fill that spot for my random book for July because I have yet to pick that. Hey guys, so first of all, sorry that you hear the dishwasher going on in the background. I decided to get a load of dishes done because the dishwasher was getting full. So at this point in the day, it is about almost 3:40 in the afternoon, and I've read a lot so far of The Outside by Ada Hoffman. I'm about 35% of the way through it. I'm on chapter 8 right now, whereas like last night I think I was on like chapter 4 or 5. Like I've read, you know, a good portion of this book. Like I said, I'm like over a third of the way through it right now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. We've kind of come to a point where we're already meeting the mentor of the story that they're trying to basically go find. Kind of where they think they might have found her, but they're not 100% sure. I made a collage of my Book Junkie Trials TBR and posted that on Twitter and Instagram, so you guys can go check that out if you'd like. I have my handles for everything down in the description of all of my videos if you'd like to check out my social media. I also will be coming out with a full post of all the books I plan on reading in July after I've put up my July TBR on the channel. I also put out on Twitter some feelers. I know that I have some booktube friends that like to put out like their Amazon wish lists for like birthdays and stuff that come up, and my birthday's on the 8th, so I have a little less than 2 weeks until my birthday. Actually a little over a week now until my birthday, and I don't know if anyone's gonna want to do anything with it, but I kind of just put out a tweet on my Twitter page about if anyone wanted to, you know, want me to share my Amazon wish list with them, you know, to let me know. I know some people kind of are weird about that because it's like begging for books, but I know that, you know, people like to give stuff sometimes, so I don't want anyone to feel like they can't send me things for my birthday, which, you know, I know it's really weird to think about, but yeah, I just know that there's a lot of people on BookTube specifically that are like, hey, if you'd like to get me something for my birthday, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, you know, here's my Amazon wish list, stuff like that. So I just kind of put out a feeler out there for people that might want it, because I know I have some friends that, you know, would probably like to send me something, and I don't really like, I just don't know. So if you want to send me something for my birthday, I will also leave the Amazon wish list down in the description here for you guys. If you would like to send me something, do not feel like you have to. I totally respect it if you don't, if you can't do it. It's totally up to you. I'm not gonna like force you to do it, but it would be really nice. I'd like to get some stuff for my birthday from people other than my family, and I don't know, even if you just want to send me something that you think I would like, that would be cool too. I totally don't have a problem with that. If you want to send me something like that, please let me know. I'm going to continue taking a bit of a break because I think my brain's getting a little overwhelmed with the story right now, just because I've read so much of it in a short period of time, and there's a lot of information that needs to be taken in. So far, I am enjoying it. Not a 5-star at this point though, and I think part of that is because I'm not very emotionally invested with any of the characters, even the main one. I'm just not really as invested as I think I wanted to, and I think part of that is because it's a sci-fi and because it deals with so much information and so much, you know, terminology and so many conceptual ideas about like physics and stuff like that. It's harder for me to feel like I want to be involved with the story more because there's so much like technical stuff that I'm not well versed in, and I feel like the story focuses a lot more on that, and that's fine because the story is really focused on the physics aspect of the story and the technical aspects, but I feel like it's a little much where it's starting to impact the way that I feel about the characters. Like, I don't really like anyone more than the rest. I don't feel any particular feelings for anyone. That's kind of, you know, a downer with this book, I feel like, and I think it's because of all of the physics stuff and the technical items being overrun in the story. Hey guys, so it is 9:19 at night right now. Robert's just gone off to work, and I haven't really read much more since I last updated you guys, because pretty much once I stopped talking to you guys, not long after that, Robert had gotten up, and then you know, I was trying to get him up and everything, and then we went and got groceries, came back, had dinner, and he just left to go to work. My plan is then for tomorrow to obviously get the vlog edited, because I was already going to edit it tomorrow. I just wanted to try to edit the first, like, everything up to Friday, but I'm just gonna edit everything tomorrow before I add in tomorrow's clips. I'm gonna go to the dollar store to get a few things for my best friend's wedding that I'm gonna be in a couple weeks, that she asked me to pick up since I'm able to. And then I'm also going to try to read more. I'm going to try to finish The Outside and get started with All We Knew But Couldn't Say. But other than that, it's going to be pretty much a day here at home, which will be nice. That really scared me. So what just scared me was that my backdrop behind me has been falling apparently for a while. I don't know why, I don't know how, but the top part of it on this side had fallen apparently earlier today. I don't know when, or it must have fallen a while ago and I never noticed it. And then this side just fell. So kind of scared me. I've been thinking about moving that backdrop anyway, or changing it, because I've had that for so long and it doesn't quite fit as much of the wall as I wanted it to. And it just kind of looks silly, you know, so I've been thinking about getting rid of it anyway. So it's probably good that it fell. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday. It is now 11:18 in the morning. I've been up for about an hour now, maybe a little more than that, but I just finished with editing a good portion of the vlog, basically all the clips up to Friday at this point, and I'm gonna go run into town real quick. I'm gonna get changed first into some clothes and go to the dollar store and the library super quick. So you guys are gonna go on an adventure with me. Unfortunately though, I was mistaken with how long I had the audiobook for A Storm of Swords. I had to send that back today because apparently it expired yesterday. So my plan is that instead of listening to the audiobook on my trip and stuff, when I get back, I'm gonna read, I think, about 50 pages or so of it real quick, and then I'm gonna finish The Outside. But last night I did get to the halfway point of The Outside, which I'm really excited about because there has been some major shit that has gone down in this book. First stop of the day. I'm gonna go get some flowers for my best friend's wedding. So apparently they don't even have the flowers that I need. Like, I need to get purple and white ones for my best friend's wedding, and they have none. So that really sucks. So I'm gonna have to go over a couple doors to the Joann's. Okay, so I just left the Joann's store, and I think I bought more than I actually needed, but it was all stuff that I actually did need because I needed to get like some fashion tape to like hold my dress up for the wedding, and then I got the flowers, and then I also got some washi tape because I wanted some and it was on sale. So I think I'm gonna head over to the Route 21 that is not far from here and find a new pair of jeans, because I need to get another pair of jeans because a pair of mine have gotten to the point where they're a little tight,
because I've had them since I was in the 8th grade and they're just now starting to get tight because I think I'm actually starting to finally gain some weight, which is really good for me, but you know, that means that I have to go find another pair of jeans and it's not always a fun time. So anyway, I'm gonna go do that and then I'm gonna head over to the library, and then I think from there, after the library, I'm gonna go get gas in my car because I need to get some before this next work week. Because especially since I'm going home on the 4th to visit family, I'm gonna need to make sure I at least have gas to be able to get me home. So, yay. Okay, so I have just pulled into a parking spot at the library, and like I said, I'm gonna go see if I can find Stardust by Neil Gaiman, or at least have it transferred to the library if they don't have it. And I know for a fact that these guys have Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, but I don't know if somebody's already checked it out, so I'm gonna at least go see. Well, I guess I was wrong. Apparently the library isn't open this time of the year on Sundays. I think they're only open from like Labor Day through Memorial Day on Sundays, which I didn't realize. I forgot that that's what a lot of libraries do, is they only are open on Sundays like through parts of the year. So that sucks, but I'll just have to go get those books tomorrow, hopefully, which is fine. I'll just stop by before I get home from work. Okay, so I am home now. I've just made myself some lunch and made another cup of coffee. So I am going to start reading a little bit of A Storm of Swords tonight. I am gonna get to like page 355. That's all I was planning on listening to today. And then after that, probably by then I'll get close to the competitive trial for the Book Junkie trials, and then I will move on to the outside. So I got all prepared to start doing the competitive trials for the Book Junkie trials, and I did not even realize that the first clue for the trials is not even going to be released until the 14th. What is it with me today where I think something's going to end up happening and I'm like completely wrong? Hey guys, so it is, I think, just after 9:05 in the evening now. And I'm calling it. I really like the outside, but I don't have the time to continue trying to get through it right now. And honestly, it's, I think, becoming even more confusing the further I get into it. Like, I'm getting really confused, I think, in general with just the overall kind of like conflict of the story, I guess is the way I can describe it. Like, I understand the main point of it, where you have your main character, Ysera, who's trying to figure out who is really telling the truth between the mentor that everyone thinks is going crazy and is a danger to all of the galaxy, or if it's really the overlords of their world, which are the gods and angels, that are the ones causing the strife that is happening, like if they're the ones behind it. And the further I've gone since I think we initially met the mentor, things are just getting very confusing. I feel like I'm not loving it as much as I originally thought I was, and it's a little sad, but I feel like that's the big thing with a lot of sci-fi anymore, is that they're so very complex with what, you know, especially these like new concepts or things that they come up with that are not actual like scientific fact. If they come up with things that, you know, are happening, these, or they come up with this phenomenon that's happening, you know, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, because science has never been like my strongest point, in physics specifically, or anything to deal with, you know, astrophysics and everything. Like, I've never really gotten my head wrapped around any of that, so that's making it a lot harder for me to get through. And at this point, I'm so tired with the day. I had a bit of a anxiety attack a little bit ago, and on the brink of tears, and so it's just been a day. I need to just stop. I'm gonna edit the rest of this vlog and then call it a night, because I just want to go to bed. I'm tired of the day. I'm done. It's just been a really, really not okay Sunday. So to quickly wrap up my BiblioGames results, basically, I pretty much completed all of my challenges. I completed all of the challenges the end of last week. Unfortunately, I didn't update my Discord nearly as much as I updated you guys. Let me know down in the comments below how you guys felt about the BiblioGames. Are you participating in the Book Junkie trials? If you are, what team are you guys on? I am on Team Mage. So if you're participating in the buying the Bibliothon, let me know down in the comments below with that as well. Are you doing any of the video challenges? Anyway, I will just see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys.